Welcome to Crimson Tide Connection, your home for Crimson Tide sports. And I'm joined today for the first time by the head coach of the Alabama women's basketball team, Wendell Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining us.
Chris, I'm excited about being here, and I'm real excited to talk about our basketball team. This new version of our team is really just left practice. Excited about it. I'm ready.
Coach, you started practice a few weeks ago, so you've had a chance to see this team a little bit. What have you seen from them so far?
Well, what I've seen is an attitude to work hard every day. I mean, we've had one what I would call bad practice in about 12 practices because we could start earlier than the men. And so when you start calculating that, 90% of the time and 95% of the time we've had really good productive practices. I mean, that's a plus. The other thing that's happened that we have everybody healthy right now. And that is a big plus for us. And plus, the 5 players that we had sitting out last year, that Kanisha Horn, of course, was all SEC freshman player, and now the 2 kids from Rutgers, Deja and Bree, and Brittany and Alicia, and now we got names that were good players that were sitting out, and plus the players that played last year are healthy.
Just talk about those players that you have coming in that are new, the girls from Rutgers and some other players. Just talk about the depth that they add to this team now.
Well, not only do they add the depth, they bring a quality of play abilities with them. Deja Simmons, who's a point guard that will be one of the better point guards in the SEC. She has that type of talent. You know, she's got to get back that year of sitting out, playing again, but she's that type of player. And Bree, who's also transferred in from Rutgers, she is one of those glue players. She's a great teammate. What the players talk about her about is she's a great teammate. All of the things that nobody else necessarily want to do. When you need somebody to talk, she's talking. When you need somebody to get on the floor, she's getting on the floor. Great teammate. And of course, Kanisha Horn being back healthy and working herself back into condition, who is a very talented young lady, a McDonald All-American, was an All-SEC freshman, was on the freshman team, where she just brings a complete package. And then we had 2 other young ladies who were sitting out. Alicia Mitchum, who played for us 2 years ago, was sitting out, and she was healthy, but now mentally she's back and healthy and ready to go. And Brittany Jack, who is a transfer in, was a walk-on, transferred in from Sanford. We didn't recruit her from Sanford. She just decided her mother actually went to Alabama, and she wanted to go where her mother went to school, who brings something that I think we're going to really help us. She's a perimeter shooter. And so she can shoot the basketball. And now we got all kind of combinations that we can play with. So those 5 that were sitting out and then had college experience. And then we brought 3 freshmen in. Nikki, who's really coming along Nikki is a post player by size, but she's a perimeter player from an offensive standpoint, which hopefully that's going to cause some people some problems. And Emily, who is a 6'1", kind of skinny 2 guard that can shoot the basketball, get her shots off, and not going to do anything fancy, but will always be in the mix. Even as a coaching staff, we have to talk about what did Emily do today. Well, she didn't do anything bad. She made 2 or 3 threes. Okay, she's keep moving up on that list. And of course, Lil Jazz. When I say Lil Jazz, she's really Lil Jazz. I think that one of the big adjustments she's got to make is just the size of the players, and so she's a freshman also. All of those are 8 new players that didn't play last year that will be on the team out of the 15 players we have.
And you've talked about Kanisha Horn, who is arguably one of the best players in the SEC. She sat out last year with an injury, but how was it for her mental-wise? We know she has all the tools on the floor, but how was it for her being able to sit out? Do you think she learned a lot mentally about the game?
I don't think there's any question, because we talked about it last year as she watched the team from last year play. And mentally, she's such a tough kid anyway, and mentally she understands basketball. I mean, great passer, probably one of the better passers we have on the basketball team, but just understands how to play. And even this year, as we're talking about things from a defensive standpoint, which we're making some changes. So when we're talking about defensively, she's like, okay, I understand that. Oh yeah, that's what we need to do. So from a basketball IQ standpoint, she is really one of the better players we have from that standpoint.
And Coach, along with a lot of new players, you have some new coaches. Can you talk about some of the new coaches? Pretty much a whole new coaching staff, right?
Well, where you want me to start? Really. What happened is right now, and of course, we hired 2 high school coaches, 2 very successful high school coaches. As a matter of fact, the 2 most successful high school coaches over the last 10 years in Alabama, Hoover Coach Donnie Quinn from Hoover, who has been a great coach and was a good coach in Louisiana, did the same thing, has won, 4 or 5 state championships. Well, the person who's won all the other state championships over the last 10 or 8 years is Tim Miller, who's now on our staff. And what that brings to the staff, those two bring to the staff a lot of experience from a coaching standpoint and a lot of experience and contact from a recruiting standpoint. I can't talk about the recruits that we have committed to us right now, but we are so excited about the commitment that we have, the commitments that we have right now. And those guys have been real instrumental in that. And then we hired Clarice Garcia, who was a Division II head coach. And her energy level as far as bringing it to, and all of these people that we hire right now have been head coaches. And they knew what they wanted in an assistant coach. And so it's been the dynamic of our staff and teaching from that standpoint has been stepped up a level, and we're real excited about what's going on.
And, we have to talk about another one that's new on the staff, one that all Alabama women's basketball fans will know about, Erica Russell. She's now the director of operation. And just talk about her, and I'm sure it's just exciting for you to have her in that role, isn't it?
Well, Erica, to me, was the epitome of a student athlete. I mean, she came to work every day from a basketball standpoint. She graduated in 3 years with an undergraduate degree. She got a master's degree in 1 year. She's that person that, you want to be successful. And, it's funny that I talked to the players last year during the course of the season, and I was telling them about, people that I would recommend for a job. And I always used Erica as that person who, at that particular time, I had recommended for several jobs, and people was talking to her about them, and she had a couple of job offers. And then when this position opened up, I was like, you know what? I don't think, I'm recommending her for that position, and she's been such a big plus in the basketball team and in the program. And bringing Erica in, and we were talking about it before we started taping this, but bringing Erica in to the program, I knew she was going to be good, but she's gotten so much better quicker than I thought that would even happen for her, even though I knew she was going to be good. And it's moved up, and from the player standpoint, what she's also brought to the table, from the player standpoint, they relate to her, and she understands from being in that position of director of operation what the players would really like, and boy, that's been great for us. And we have one other addition, player personnel director. I think that's the right title right there. But Capri Tucker, who also is a young lady who played basketball in Alabama at Fort Payne, but went to UT Chattanooga and played. And when I was talking to her this summer, actually there was a connection between her and Erica. I was talking to her college coach, and they were like, man, she's the greatest person, first of all, and what she would bring to the table. And they wanted her to stay and be a graduate assistant, but we had this other position. And so staff-wise right now, we've had new people in, but it's been good. The players are responding to those people, and it's been such an exciting time. Matter of fact, Vicki Plant, who has been there with us from the beginning, she told me, they said, Coach, you're having way too much fun. I said, you're absolutely right, Vicki. And so that's a part of the staff that we have.
That's great. It's great that you got a lot of new energy around the program, and it's great to see Erica still around. And Erica's been one of my favorite players here. And tell her now, we were playing horse one time, and we had to cut the game short. I think I'm up one basket on her. So when you see her, tell her that we still got to finish that game.
Yeah, she'll be ready to come after you because of that stuff.
Well, Coach, congratulations on everything. Your first game is on November the 5th against Stillman, and that would be in Foster Auditorium at 6:30. So you want the fans to come out, don't you?
Yeah, and I think that's the big key. I think if you come out and watch this team play, you're going to get real excited. I mean, the excitement around the program. We got some really good players that are in. We're going to play up-tempo basketball, and the big key is get people out in the stands. And I think if you'll come out, you'll really enjoy it, and you're going to see a different style of basketball than, everybody want to talk about, what happened whatever year it was, and even last year. With the injuries and all the things that we went through and that kind of stuff, we've gotten that taken care of. Everybody's healthy. There's a couple of players who are not in the program right now, and so, but the excitement from this team will go through the crowd, and I think that you will really enjoy watching this team play.
Again, that's November the 5th against Stillman, and that's at 6:30 in Foster Auditorium. Thank you, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for Crimson Tide Connection. For head coach Wendell Hudson, I'm Chris Spring.